Hi, I'm Hayla, and I have suffered from anxiety since about, I want to say, elementary school, and then diagnosed with depression late high school, early college.
My name is Savannah Johnson. I'm 27 years old, and I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder type 2 and anxiety when I was 25.
My name is Melanie, and I suffer from anxiety and depression.
My name's Steven. I struggle with ADHD.
Hey, my name is Kinsey, and about a year ago I was diagnosed with postpartum depression.
What's up? My name is Jessica. I'm a 36-year-old woman who has struggled in life with mental health issues in the past, but by way of my Savior and King Jesus, I make it through every day.
I'm Caleb. I'm 32. Avid outdoorsman, married with 2 kids. They mean the world to me. And I struggle daily with anxiety, depression, ADHD.
My name is Cecilia, and the gym knows me as Cece. I was diagnosed with multiple mental disorders when I was 25. I was diagnosed with bipolar hypermania. I was bipolar with anxiety, OCPD, and ADHD.
I went through college just kind of ignoring it, didn't really understand what depression was. It's very taboo to talk about, along with anxiety, on top of people just not believing that it's true.
30 years ago, nobody talked about depression, and teenagers really didn't get treatment for depression. So I basically just suffered through it, and honestly, I'm grateful that I'm here today, because there were times when I was a teenager that it was questionable. It was very dark, very, very dark.
At one point in my life, I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. I was clinically depressed. I had an anxiety disorder, sleep disorders. I walked around with a gallon bag of prescription medications that I took on a daily basis.
Around 24, 25, I noticed that my body and my mind had been doing things that I was not used to and things that I didn't always experience. So I was struggling really bad with trying to find out why those things were happening to me. So I was kind of seeking help, but didn't really know where to seek it because I didn't know what was happening.
Mental health wasn't really a thing in my household, so a lot of what I thought I was going through, I thought was, maybe not normal, but because I didn't think it was normal, because I didn't really have any insight into mental health, and I just thought I was like the weirdest person in the world.
With bipolar disorder, you go through manic phases and you go through depressive phases. So my manic phases, they're great. If I'm being honest, they're fun, and it truly feels like you're on this high that can last sometimes, for me, typically up to weeks at a time. And I enjoy who I am on manic phases. I'm happy, I'm entertaining, I'm productive, I'm extra, if you could say.
I keep most of my issues bottled up inside, put away, and find my alone time to deal with them on my own.
At that point in my life, it was a major breaking point for me. I totally lost control of who I was, and it's like I couldn't control my own thoughts or my own body, and it was supposed to be this happy time in my life, like I had just had a baby, and that's something I wanted for so long, but I was so sad every day.
I hit a moment of depression, which is not a mental disorder that I suffer from, but it was it was like a reaction to me being at such high from my hypermania, which led me into a moment where my body was like, okay, you need to calm down. We need you to rest. So this is where we're gonna put you. We're gonna put you in a moment of depression.
The depressive phases they're very scary, to say the least. It's like an overwhelming dark cloud that just goes on and on for weeks sometimes. It's a hopelessness feeling. I've always described it as I feel everything but absolutely nothing at the exact same time. And for some, that might be very hard to understand. And if you can relate to it, then I'm sorry.
Was in the Army for 6 years, deployed to Afghanistan for about a year. seen and did some things that have stuck with me, since we left from over there. And that's in my mind daily.
I moved home, didn't survive my freshman year moving off, came home, thought it would get better, it didn't, and I decided to go to therapy, and that's where I realized like how severe depression can get. I had never been diagnosed formally with bipolar depression, but my therapist strongly believed that that might have been my issue. I would have very high highs, feeling great, but when those lows came, wouldn't get out of bed, wouldn't shower, wouldn't eat, and that's when you kind of realize, hey, this is a problem.
I took my son in for a pediatrician appointment, and my pediatrician, looked over my son, and I was telling him my concerns, and he looked at me and he said, I really think we need to talk about you. And I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, you're having postpartum depression and psychosis.
I would hear something someone said to me or pick up on something that someone would do or say or how they would look. Anything like super small and tiny, I would like pick up on it, and then I would just have this immediate like super strong reaction to it. And it threw a lot of people off guard. I mean, including myself, but it understandably threw a lot of people off guard because whether or not they were joking or like playing around or something like that, then because of the perceived situation in my mind, it could be the polar opposite in reality. But because of the perceived situation in my mind, it would just cause me to like completely, blow up almost emotionally.
By the time I was 29 years old, I found myself addicted to heroin by way of the needle. I was married at that point. I had 3 children, and my family, I just dragged everybody through the mud, coping the best way that I knew how, and that was through substances, drugs, alcohol, whatever I could get my hands on.
It just took everything that I was and changed me completely as a person. Like I didn't even recognize who I was anymore.
Stuff around the house, I'd get so worked up about a little thing, like a door handle, needing to replace a door handle. And just the worry of being able to go get the handle and put it on and make sure it works right, to being depressed and wanting to lock myself in away from everybody, even my wife and kids. I've put them through bad times because of my inner darkness. I cut them off, I cut my friends off, don't talk to nobody, for a couple days, and I fall in a rut and can't come out of it.
Inside my head, it was loud, noisy, negative. It was a lot of self-hate, like you're not good enough, everybody hates you, those kind of crappy things that we say to ourselves that we would never say to anybody else, but we say it to ourselves.
So I kind of just dealt with that for months, and then I started ignoring it again, and I'm like, I'm fine. I love myself, I'm doing great. And then it hits you, I hate myself. And saying that is awful. Like looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, I hate myself is the worst feeling. And because you want to love yourself. Everybody around you tells you how great you are. You're a kind person, you're funny, I love you, you're my friend. And you look in a mirror and you don't see that. And having to deal with those feelings alone is like probably one of the hardest things ever.
It wasn't that I've ever wanted to die. It was simply just I wasn't afraid to anymore. I have 2 beautiful kids, and I would never hurt myself to where they would never be able to see me again. But the fear of death disappeared, and I looked at it more as a relief.
I eventually just sucked it up and was like, I need to go see a psychiatrist, which is where I eventually found out that I had all of the things that I previously mentioned. But since then, since finding out that I had those diagnoses, has made my life so much better because I have been able to take the right steps, take the correct medications to help me maintain them.
Just acknowledging that I had a problem was the first step for me, and then coming here, I've really been able to tell a difference. Seeking out the help and then coming here, it's every day it just brings me closer and closer to the person that I was, and it makes me feel more confident and back to the joyful self I was before I was diagnosed with postpartum depression.
So I wanted to do something different. I joined the gym. I had never been to a group fitness class. Went to a group fitness class, loved it. I'd never had that amount of energy, and I've never slept the whole night. Honestly, I've never slept the whole night without waking up. I'm new. I love to lift weights. I love to feel like a badass in the gym, and honestly, when I come here, that's what I feel like.
I'm almost 2 years into CrossFit, and I'm about to get my strict pull-up, and I'm super excited about that. I'm not there yet, and maybe 2 years is a long time, but I'm making progress, and I'm grateful that I can see that I'm growing in more ways than one, you know, mentally, physically, spiritually, and definitely working out here. It's a huge asset to my life, to my mental health, to my spirituality. I love to come in here when nobody else is here and turn on Maverick City music and just jam out and worship while, you know, I lift. It's great.
Being here at CrossFit, specifically with CrossFit, because of how the workouts are made and how you have to do them, then it's definitely given me a way to like strengthen my mental resolve with just anything in life. So it's like, if I'm having a tough day, then it's just be like, all right, Steven, chill. Like, yeah, this sucks right now, but you just gotta push through it, you know, focus on something else, do something else, but you will be able to get through it. So just like, you know, keep pushing.
I don't like going out in public alone, and now I can. Like, I go to Kroger by myself, when before I'd be like, Mom, go shopping with me. That factor right there is one reason, well, one of the main reasons, besides not wanting to be sore, that keeps me coming to this gym. I feel like we seriously have a family here. I mean, I think I talk to every coach at least once a week, even if they're not in the gym. I'm messaging them on Facebook, and I'm like, hey, hope you're like having a great day, or like, hey, I miss you. And I just don't think people see gyms becoming families, because a lot of gyms you come and go, but this gym, these are my like family. Like, I could not live without these people.
This place has felt like home since the very first day I stepped in it. The amount of inner peace, which I've said is something that I have struggled to find, but something I've strived to find my entire life. I've never felt more inner peace here than I have anywhere else. Every single person that I've met along my journey here has built me into someone that I'm truly proud of now. I owe all of my self-confidence to the owners here, to the members, and to the coaches.
And we'd never done CrossFit before, you know, we was always just your big stereotypical gym goers. You know, go in there, work out by yourself for an hour and a half, then leave. So we were like, well, we've made good friends already just working out with my friend. So I said, let's give it a shot. So we did the open and honestly fell in love with it. I mean, after about a week, everybody knew who he was. We'd always come at the same time in the afternoon, and that's when it started to become like family.
When I spoke to my psychiatrist and she sat down and she was able to lay it out like, hey, this is what you have and these are your symptoms and this is what can lead into all these other things that you have, and this is why you are experiencing these things. It was just like a breath of fresh air. It was like a sense of relief. It was like, okay, I'm not crazy. There's a reason why I do the things that I do, and there are things that can help me maintain this. I think that this has been the best place for me when it comes to dealing with my mental illnesses and having stressful days at work. And even when I get here and I don't want to work out, there's that one person that's like, hey, Cece, oh my God, I missed you. Where have you been? And I think that sometimes that's the only thing that you need for someone that suffers from some of the illnesses, mental illnesses that I suffer from, to help you get through the day or make the day the best part of the day. Because I know I have long days at work, and when I come here, I know that it's going to be bomb, because The people here are absolutely amazing.